Alright, today's video is going to be on how I fixed a fairly annoying yet simple issue with my radio and information infotainment system for my 2012 Nissan Pathfinder. It turns out though that this is more of a general Nissan problem than a Pathfinder problem. And it has to do with the extended storage fuse or extended storage switch. So the main issues that I was having was every time I would start my vehicle, the clock would be reset. The radio would be off, climate control would be off, the stereo settings would be lost, information like the fuel economy and tire pressure would vanish and it would have to reset itself. All the bass and treble levels in your stereo settings were also set back to normal or set back to for factory default. So overall, fairly annoying because every time you started your vehicle, you had to reset everything. So if this is your issue with a Nissan, and I believe it's probably a problem for anything that's 2011 or newer, the fix was actually pretty simple, and it had to do with something called an extended storage fuse, which basically allows the vehicle to remember all the data in the infotainment system. And for the Pathfinder, and I believe for the Frontier and maybe the X-Terra, the fuse is actually just over right in the glove box. So the fuse panel is actually located on the right hand side of the glove box here. And the fuse you're going to want to look at is actually the only one that's written in black, highlighted in black, and it's called electronic parts. And it's very easy to identify because it's the only one with this plastic covering around the fuse, and that's actually called the extended storage switch. The reason that it has that plastic around it is it was shipped with the plastic piece pulled out, and then when it arrived at the dealership pushes that in and essentially activates the extended storage fuse, and that is to save battery power while it's in transit. For me, when I sort of pulled this the switch out to inspect the fuse, what I found was the fuse was fine, but it had some corrosion sort of on the fuse contacts, and in fact when I pushed it back in, everything's worked perfectly. So I'm not sure if it develops a small amount of corrosion on the fuse while it's over the years, since there's always sort of power flowing through it. However, for me, just pulling that out, pushing it back in, worked perfectly. If you were to pull this out and the fuse is actually blown, you can replace the fuse, but you don't need this white covering anymore. So if you pull the white piece off, you can get rid of it if you want to. All you need to do is put the fuse back in. So that's how I fixed my Nissan Pathfinder's memory problem. Hopefully if you have the same problem that works for you, because it's pretty fast and easy to do, and it costs me nothing. Thanks for checking out the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe.